Hello, hello.
Yeah, what's up, Raj?
What's going on, Devin? How you doing today?
I'm so good. I'm
I'm
so great.
doing I'm doing I'd say a little better than good. I'm doing great.
Somewhere between good and great.
Yes. And
It's a good place to be.
There's a couple reasons. Well, the first reason is because we got the legendary Freddie McGregor on the show today. So I'm really
Wow.
really excited about that. But I'm also stoked on the fact that we're branching out, we're doing new things here.
hmm
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new segment on the show. And it's called, get ready for this, ready? Dun dun dun, dun. News. It's called News.
That's good.
This
It's a
is
good
where
name for
we.
it.
It's a good
I
name.
was
I mean,
wondering, I know you've been staying up at night thinking of a name for this segment, and I was wondering what
night
it
and
was going to be,
day.
and I just think you nailed it.
I had an epiphany, man. I was like, I pulled all my
You
hair
nailed it.
out. I was like, geez, what's going on here? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing this every show, new segment. This is where we highlight some of the current things that are going on in the reggae community worldwide. And I want to start off with a very, very cool documentary on Randy's Records. It's called
hmm
Studio 17, The Lost Reggae Tapes. And this documentary, it follows Clive Chin's, it's kind of like his battle to secure the rights of the archives of the legendary Randy's Records, which was founded by his father, Vincent Randy Chin. So I was learning originally this was just supposed to be a documentary on like production and the history, but then he ended up finding all these lost tapes and their property.
Wow.
So I guess their property was like left abandoned because they moved to the U.S. in the '70s to kind of escape like political turmoil. And so yeah, one thing led to another, and it was like, all right, we got this cool thing here, these lost tapes, and yeah, there's a lot of cool. I mean, the Dennis Brown is the big figure in some of these tapes. A 16-year-old Dennis Brown.
That's crazy.
It is super crazy, and so I'm super stoked to see it.
Me too. I can't wait for that.
It
It's out
it
now, right?
well, see, that's where it was kind of fishy because I saw things about it a while back, and I learned that it premiered in late 2019 on BBC television. And then it planned to hit the film festival circuit in 2020, but it was put on pause by the pandemic. And so now the film is really finally starting to stream worldwide just in time for Reggae Month. So, yeah, man, this documentary, it contains hundreds of reels featuring many unheard and unreleased songs. Dennis Brown, Peter Tosh, I think, is on some cool stuff too. Speaking of Dennis Brown, we got some birthdays to celebrate. So
Yep.
Dennis Brown, his birthday just passed on February 1st. And
hmm
another legend in Jamaican music, Mr. Bob Marley, his birthday will be in a couple days on February 6th.
That's right.
So Devin, you got any news for us?
Well, speaking of Bob Marley, on February 6th, every year the Bob Marley Foundation, the Bob Marley Museum in Jamaica has a day-long celebration with music and all kinds of events. This year they're doing it totally online, as we all are, for Bob Marley's 76th birthday, which, as you just mentioned, is coming up February
Mm-hmm.
6th. 71st? 76th birthday. It's coming up February 6th. I think I got that right. 76, right? I think it'll be 76.
Right, right.
76 on February 6th. That's what it is.
That's what it
And they
is.
moved it. The whole celebration's happening online. You can check out all the info at the BobMarleyFoundation.org. There's all kinds of cool events happening, including a special intimate live stream by his son Stephen Marley. He'll be doing a Bob Marley tribute. So check that out at Bob Marley. It's BobMarleyFoundation.org. And also, the other thing I wanted to mention really quick is our good friend, Mr. Clinton Farron, who we had on the show last week. We mentioned this, that he's got a documentary that has been made about him and is still in the works called Rich Man, Poor Man, highlighting his whole story. And there's no release date yet, but I know they just uploaded a bunch of cool new footage and trailers. And you can find out about that at rootfire.net. Just go to rootfire.net. And this whole month has been Clinton Farron Spotlight Month. So you can find all the info about that there. Um,
Sweet.
so that's it. That's our new segment, our news segment. We're going to be doing this every week, just talking about some of the cool stuff that's going on in
Right.
the reggae world.
Yeah.
But now to give you the segment that we do all the time, which is one of my favorite parts of the show, Record of the Week, where Roger and I look in our record boxes and pick some records we'd like to share with you guys. And I think
Yeah.
I'll go first today, Raj.
Okay. Okay.
My record is a Gaylads tune. Of course, we had Mr. B.B. Seaton on the show a while back. And I realized I forgot to ask him about this tune, which I'm like, this is like the main reason I want to have him back on, because I don't know how I spaced on this, because it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. Studio One Roots, one of those tunes that just, there's nothing else that sounds like it. Those Studio One Roots tunes that just, that's it. It's the only song that sounds like it. So we're going to hear this one right now. This is the Gaylads with Tell It All. Yeah, man.
Dope.
That one gets me. I first heard that song. There's a DJ out of the UK called DJ Greedy G. You might have heard of him. And this is in the early days of the internet, but definitely before social media. And I was just like, first realizing like, whoa, there's this like tool that I can use to search for like obscure reggae. And people were starting to put up like their mixtapes and stuff. And I found a Greedy G Studio One mix called Rare Studio One Singles or something like that. And that was on it. And I spent years trying to find that tune. Finally found it a while back. One of my favorite things about my copy, which you can see in the little image here, is that someone wrote 99 cents on it. I definitely paid more than 99 cents for this song. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's a Money Disc 7-inch, which is like one of the subsidiaries of Studio One. You know, there was like Winrow and, you know, of course, the Coxsone labels and the Studio One labels, and Money Disc and Winrow were like the ones that had more rootsy tunes on it. And that tune's from 1972. And like I was saying, it's just a beautiful, beautiful example of the ambience that you can get, and they always got at Studio One, that, you know, was recognizable on no matter what style they were recording. But on those groovy, slow roots tunes like that with a lot of space, it just like, I think the ambience is the star of the show more than any more than it is in any of the other styles that they play. You know,
right?
All that space, just you really hear just all that reverb, and you know, we've talked about this with guests that we've had on before, like how whatever they were doing between the acoustics and the electricity to achieve that, you know, and the miking to achieve that ambience on those slow tunes, it's so beautiful.
Right.
There's not like a lot of them, you know what I mean? Like that from that like that Studio One Roots era.
Mhm.
You know, there's just not
Mhm.
as many of those kind of tunes as I would like. And then the vocals on that, you know, this is why I wish I would have asked BB Seaton about it, because the Gaylads just, you don't hear them too much on tunes like that. You know, you think of like the
Right.
ska and rocksteady stuff, um, and then they've got some cleaner roots, but like that one just, and the lyrics are, I don't know, I can't tell what he's saying the whole time, but I know he's saying "tell it all," and then "come all you juvenile delinquents,"
Mm.
and like so I wanted to ask him about that. Like, what are you guys talking about in this song? It took me a long time. Like when I first heard that song was in the beginning of my reggae years, and my patois understanding was not great, you know.
Mhm.
But after a while, it's like suddenly clicked. I think the flip side, the version of it, is called juvenile. So I was looking at it one day and like hearing it. I was like, oh, that's what they're saying. Come all you juvenile delinquents.
Right.
But that's a tune, man. That's one of my favorites. And we say this a lot about songs we play on this segment, that it's not necessarily one that's going to, you know, I'm going to bring out and play when I'm
Mhm.
DJing somewhere. I wish, man. I wish that we could get some people to like commit to coming as audience members to a night where we played. We could just play whatever,
Like-
you know, like Roots
Like
and stuff.
like kind of a club, you know what I mean? Like something like appreciation that. I mean, I think some of those go on, right? It's more of a hangout though. It's more of a like, instead of a club, you got certain goals, right? You want to get people moving, you want people to stay and buy drinks or something, whatever. But when you some of these more like homie hangouts, you know, it turns into a more like record appreciation club kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I
I
always
think-
find, you know, that's the spot, like that's the time to bring out those records, because you
Yeah,
want to
it-
like show your homies, you know.
It definitely is, but like, you know, if like there's the documentary Small Axe that's on right now, and there's, I think it's in the Lovers Rock episode, where there's a long like 9-minute scene where they're dancing in this like in this club in this party they're throwing to this slow tune. And it's a crazy scene because they show like it's an uninterrupted like long scene of them dancing to this slow song, and like you can dance to slow music. It's like, you know, it's like we've got it in our head in American culture, I think, that it's got to be like really fast and pumping, and you know, and like, but like this slow stuff you can dance to, you know. I wish that would come back around, that you could play slow stuff and people would appreciate the groove, you know, and it wouldn't just be like, oh, okay, here we go, we're going to sleep now, you know.
Right. I think the palette, you know, is different because, you know, people might want to go out nowadays and hear the top 40. You know, I always call it like the box set. You know, they want to hear the hits, or they want to hear songs that they haven't heard that are comparable to that energy, maybe. So the vibe is different in the sense that maybe some of those dances were, you know, I don't know. I mean, I can't pinpoint it. We can definitely acknowledge that it's different though when we spin at a club, a reggae club nowadays, as opposed to how it was, you know, back in the day, where you could probably get away with spinning many of those kind of tunes in a row, and people would love it because it created a certain vibe, you know, that they gravitated towards.
I'm going to ask Freddie about that very thing, because a favorite song
True.
of mine, of his, is a slow one from the Rub-a-Dub era, and I'm just going to ask him about that very thing. But I know you got a record, Raj. What you got for us?
I got a record that's on deck right here. This is a super cool record. I'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. It's called Hail I by Bongo, Herman, and Les.
Eli, one heart, one love, Eli.
Wow. Talk about vibe.
Dang.
We were talking about vibe earlier, and you know what? I really like tunes like this because as a musician, you can you have certain songs that are premeditated and they're, they got some structure to it. And then you have the songs where it's just like, okay, let's just jam out. I know a lot of times, so the aggros are, we have our vocal songs, we have our instrumental songs. And a lot of the times, some of those instrumental songs get birthed out of just jamming. And I think that, listen, that song was like 2 chords, 3 instruments, really. You had the 4 organ, piano, bingy, and sax.
A couple percussion instruments were there. You heard a bass
Percussion
drum
instrument,
and the
yeah. Well, different, yeah, exactly. The different groups of instruments. So it allows people to, really ad lib, and I think what that allows is more chance for like the magic to happen and more cool things to go on, and you got to look at a tune like that to be. Whenever I hear that tune, it always reminds me of like an intro to something. Like I think I've spun that song as an intro to my set, as an intro. It could be an intro to a live show, you know what I mean, before the people take stage. It's vibe, no, obviously it was no lyrics involved. It's just all ad lib. Everyone's ad libbing. And I love tunes like that, man. You capture some magic. You talk about, bands like the Upsetters were famous for that because a lot of their instrumentals had that. It allowed Family Man to go and vamp off and do some really cool bass lines that maybe he was not, able to branch out on like a vocal tune or something like that. So, yeah, it's a long tune, 2 chords straight ahead, but I really, really like it, man. And
It's killer.
Derek Harriott, 1971. And I guess Les is Les Davis, who's also a percussionist in the Crystalites, because Bongo Herman was as well. And that's the cool thing about the Crystalites, right? They had like, groups of guys that would cover the percussion area. So
It's crazy that was 1971 because the recording quality sounded so clean. If that same tune had been cut at Studio One,
yeah,
it would have sounded way different. Like it almost sounded like direct. I was wondering when you were playing, I was like, what year is this? And to hear it's 1971, it's just, man, it just shows because I played a Studio One tune before this from 72, and the fact that this was 71 from recorded elsewhere in Jamaica,
I'm sure it got
way different.
I'm sure it got cleaned up sonically because it is a repress, so I'm sure it's like not. They probably, yeah. I see what you're saying. They
might have done some stuff to it, but still, like that original, the quality of the session shines through, and it's just so clean.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. Yeah, everything comes through nice. So yeah, man.
No, that's killer. That's a killer one. So that was our record of the week segment. And speaking of records, this week we're doing another thing new before we bring Freddie on. Real quick, we got to thank VP Records because we are giving away a copy on vinyl of Freddie McGregor's newest record, True to My Roots, which came out on VP Records. And it's real simple to enter this giveaway. Just go to the YouTube that you're watching right now, the Reggae PodClash Freddie McGregor episode, and on YouTube, and you will find in the description of the YouTube at the bottom there's a link to enter the contest. And if you win, you're going to get a vinyl copy of True to My Roots, which is the newest Freddie McGregor record on VP. So big up VP, big up Freddie McGregor. And speaking of Freddie, without any further ado, we're so honored to have one of the great Jamaican singers, producers, a man who's been strong through every era of Jamaican music, from the ska days till now. It's our great pleasure to welcome Mr. Freddie McGregor to the Reggae PodClash.
Yes.
Hey, Freddie.
Yes, greetings.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
Excellent.
Was just checking out that Derek Harriott piece as well. That was brilliant. That recording was really excellent. Made me wonder what studio you recorded it at. But nice one.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Do you know what studio, Roger? Because it's Derek Harriott.
I'm not sure. It sound to me like it could be Randy's at the time, but I'm not sure.
Was Randy's at that time known for having that kind of cleaner sound?
It would depend on the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a Harry G piece as well, but I'm not sure. And that's a good mystery or a nice mystery.
Right.
Did you ever record it at Randy's?
No, I used to go there for sure, but I don't remember. Maybe I have because I've recorded some stuff for Bonnie Lee, which was in my early days, and I think some of those tracks were recorded at Randy's actually.
Speaking of early days, I just want to jump right into it because I was like, "Are you serious? He was this young when he started in the scene." But is it true that in the Clarendonians that you were 7 years old when you started singing with Peter and Ernest?
Yes, but this question has been asked over and over again.
Right.
Uh,
Yes.
Yeah, but you see, we all are from Clarendon. In his Clarendon, just a little south of Mapen, about 5 miles maybe. I'm sorry. And Ernest and I, we went to his primary school, which was a primary school in our community. Peter was already an adult, and we had an old piano at the school. And Ernest is very excellent at playing piano and guitar and bass and stuff. Really talented. And so every Thursday we used to perform at the school. And I made up a little song called Roll Dumpling Roll. If you want to know dumpling sweet, dip it in a coconut oil. And my little song get popular within the community.
Hmm.
So everybody started to say, Miss Tiny Son can't sing. And the adults in the community, every evening after school would stop you on the street and say, Tiny boy, come here, sing the dumpling song. And you get a penny, what we call a threepence, which is 3 pence, or whatever it was that they gave, and bust the roll dumpling tune, mash up the place everywhere. But Ernest and I would continue to like sing every Thursday. And then Ernest's mom and my mom were good friends. So after one rehearsal, because Ernest and Peter used to rehearse at Ernest's house, which was far from my house either. So I've been to the rehearsal a couple of times, and like the third time, I start dipping inside of the harmony and start 2 notes. And at that age, if you spoil the people them stuff, them gonna really stop you or rush you or run you, something like that. But that wasn't the case. So what's happening? And then Ernest's mom came to my mom and told her that they were going to Kingston next Sunday to record, and no way they were leaving me. And my mom said, but Jetta, I'm gonna have the money for sending. And she said, no man, may I get paid Thursday, so don't worry about the money. Then now leave him.
Nice.
Just like that. And the rest is history. And I remember that Sunday morning we took a bus called the Clarendon Comet, which was about 2 miles from where I lived. But when they hung the horn in the morning, like 4:30, the entire community hear that. So, you can run through, you look a shortcut and go meet the bus where one. That was my journey. My mom made me a thermos full of tea, and my sister get some newspaper stuff inside of my chest, and, she gave me a nutmeg also. And, I get my little ice cream and peanut money as well. And my little bag with my stuff. And where I took the bus, about a mile further down was a main square in the east. And that's where Ernest and Peter and Miss Etlin came to the bus. And they boarded. And Miss Etlin last instruction to Ernest was, when you see the cemetery downtown, because she never said cemetery, because we never really had that kind of talk back then. So she said, when you see the cemetery, you're downtown, ask the driver to put you on the Patipan bus, which was a number 13 bus. It was particularly shorter than the regular Jolly Joseph buses that we had, and ask them to drop you at the studio. And then she said to Ernest, make sure take care of Tiny boy. And the rest is history, Walking into Studio One that day was extremely special because we were in the country, listening to music, loving the music. Ernest and Peter went to Kingston, bust some big tunes, and became popular as the Clarendonian. So that made us proud, and everybody rooting for their artists and from their parish and stuff like that. And here I am with them at Studio One that Sunday morning. It was Bob Andy, and a gentleman named Tony Gregory, um, and BB Seaton from the Gaylads. They
Yeah.
were the ones doing auditions on the Sunday morning. So I don't know if I was lucky or fortunate or just blessed to have come in with Ernest and Peter, so I didn't have to go through audition.
Nice.
But I watched it, long lines of people lined up, and everybody. Some people get turned down, come back next month. Some people you wait over there. Some people 3 weeks time kind of thing, and it was amazing, because like you walk into a university. It was a scatterlights. So you could say all the horn players because they had pencils in their ear. And yeah, and Jajeri, and like Brevet, and it just amazes you. You're around these great people, Jackie to everybody. So
So at
after
that
my
age, you
pardon?
were already pretty familiar with those artists at that age.
No. Well, I mean, musically, yes,
Mm.
because we used to listen to whatever was popular at the time, and I mean, music was truly hot then, and so Ernest and Peter happened to now be in the mix as our own country youth. So wow, this is really cool, and here I am in Kingston with them, and so everybody would ask Ernest would say, "Look, brother." And them say, yeah, man, look at Freddie can sing. Hey, guys, sing the dumpling song with them here. Boom, I bust a dumpling tune. It mash up the place. And it go on like that for a little, until everybody kind of take on to the stick. You look at Freddie, and yeah, time for recording. I got the opportunity to be in the studio. And so in Jamaica, when you're having live recordings, allow children or anyone other than musicians in the room. And that's where we'll come up with a thing called red light. Because when you press recording, a red light comes on to indicate to you that session is on. You don't pull the studio door. So I got a chance to be inside there and kind of watch what was happening, and started to learn from early. And then Mr. Dodd asked Ernest one Monday morning, where was I staying? And Ernest tell him I was staying in Rallington Town, in McGregor Gully. And Mr. Dad said to him, when you come in tomorrow, bring his stuff. And from that time onwards, I became to live with Mr. Dad and his family in Pembroke Hall.
Wow.
His wife and his children. And, every morning, Mr. Dad drove a Buick, nice gray Buick car. Buick was a special car back then. And I still remember the license plate to today. It's AE231. Because we look out for that car a lot over many years.
What did your mother think about that?
Well,
move?
my mother was excited for me. She would come to Kingston every 2 weeks or so. Look out for me, and I can remember every time she came to Kingston, Mr. Dad would always make sure she had money. Go
Nice.
back, and she just really came to make sure I was okay, But then I grew to love Mr. Dad really, because Mr. Dad was really like a father to me, and Mrs. Dad. His family until today, we really keep in touch with each other, and we have that respect for each other too.
Wow, that's crazy. Was it when you walked into Studio One? You mentioned the red light and other things. Did it strike you? And I know you were young, but did it strike you as more of a professional environment or more of a laid back, creative environment?
No, it's a professional environment. I mean, the vibe and the music was buzzing. Everything was buzzing. It was happening. At that time in 1963, going into 64, ska was slowing down at the time. Slowing down, because if you notice, like for Eric Montemorris and Derek Morgan, it would be a faster tempo ska. So it was slowing down and getting close to rock steady. So I'd say I caught the tail ending of that rock steady. I mean, that ska coming into rocksteady with songs like After Laughter, which is available on YouTube. So many of them, so many I could name. But yeah, and watch the transition into rocksteady, into reggae.
Yeah, there's a tune called Truth Hurts,
Truth Hurts.
and it's a wicked rock steady piano intro, and of course
Oh yeah.
the vocals are beautiful.
Why did you do it? Do good and good will follow you. A number of songs. There are
Right. Who did the bulk of the songwriting in the Clarendonians between the three of you?
Clarendonians was always Ernest and Peter. And I think Peter did most of the writing. And Clarendonians did cover a number of songs like Beatles and other top artists because that's how it was at Studio One. So that was exposed to a lot of music. You know, he would take them back and give them to Jackie Mittoo. He would have stacks of record, and Jackie Mittoo would listen to them and choose which ones he would want to work with. Because that's how come Studio One had session every day. You know, kind of marvel me how Mr. Dad was able to do that. We run a recording session from Monday to Friday, possibly to Sunday, every week. You know, because there was a lot of musicians, and you know, he wanted, I guess, everybody to be earning, but he also loved the music and wanted to go forward with it. So he created that kind of environment. So yeah, it was nice. And Jackie Mittoo took them and changed a lot of songs. And yourself, among other people, hear them today and wouldn't necessarily know that it's a song that he has taken and turned it into something totally new and different.
That happens to Roger and I all the time because for years now we've listened to almost only Jamaican music. So lots of times, you know, I there's a song I just hear over and over, and then someone tells me, you know, that's a cover, right? I'm like, what? I didn't know that. Like it happens all the time.
All the time.
Still happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you, as the Clarendonians, did the three of you have a vocal teacher, like a Joe Higgs, you know, figure
No,
like he was?
it wasn't like that for us. You know, I just eat plenty sugar cane because where we come from is all about sugar cane. The sugar industry is big in Clarendon where we're from. But no, we never had those kind of luxury. It's just natural talent.
Yeah.
I say Ernest and I, we spend a lot of time together, living together, since my arrival into Kingston. And so we practice together, so we become really tight. Because if you listen to a lot of those early songs, you could tell like these are well rehearsed. You know, because back then you can't make mistakes. You know, we're recording 2 tracks. So 1 track is for the music, 1 track for vocal. So if you're doing a recording and you make a mistake, the entire band have to stop and start over. So you'll be careful not to sound. That's why we had rehearsals. Get it right. You ready? Yeah. Take 1.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice. Take another cut. Take 2. Sometimes 3. And if you notice, sometimes you hear a Studio One track and you hear a version that sounds just a shade different. Because Mr. Dad always say, all right, Jackson, nice one. Let's take another one. Take 2. But we take a different cut. And sometimes you just say, all right, that one nice enough, but let's give him 1 more. And the other one is somewhat different, but he has them, he keep it.
Right.
So it's just that kind of vibe.
Would you guys be in the same room as you know, Tommy and Jackie and Roland, or would it be like a separate area?
It was always one room, 1 studio room, 1 big studio room, 1 engineering room. So only people who needed to be inside of the musician's room was always allowed. The artist and the band. The engineering room would either be Sid Buckner at the time or Sylvan Morris, depending on the era.
Wow.
And so that was strict. But like I said, I lived at Mr. Dad's house. So I had the opportunity to be in the studio. So when the studio is closed 6 or 7 o'clock at night, depending on what time, I'd be going home in that Buick. AE 231.
I won't forget it.
We'll look out for it.
Were you excited at seeing the musicians play? I mean, because you're
Yeah,
a great drummer.
That's how I learned to play drums, because every time the musicians would take a break, I would go around the drum set and, you know, try something that I heard. And then I would go around Jackie's piano and bang around a little, and you just try, you look and you learn and you listen and you learn. I was fascinated by like Brevet and how he played the bass, and that's these different things, you just try, you just fool around,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually it worked for me because I eventually played drums on a lot of songs. I play bass on songs, I play keyboard on songs. So, what I've learned works for me.
Yeah.
What were some notable songs at Studio One that you played drums on that you remember?
A lot of Johnny Osborne stuff, a lot of Sugar Mine, Jennifer Lara. Mr. Dad had me doing overdubs and a lot. Most of the Studio One tracks that you can hear overdubs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I do that. Some of it is percussion, some of it is drums like rim shots and different things that we do. Some of them is like tambourine,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of spook up the rhythm a bit.
Right. So that's like if you go one album that just pops in my head is like those original Burning Spear Studio One records. You hear when you buy the reissues now, you hear a lot
Yeah,
of those drum
yeah,
overdubs. So a lot of that was you, that kind of stuff.
electric drums and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Right.
But Mr. Dad was always experimenting and trying different things at that time. If I would say my only disappointment is during that same era that we're speaking of. If only Mr. Dad had a great engineer
Mm.
to take over that part of his business, I think Studio One would have worked out really strong because the talent was always there to do everything else. The musicians were there, the artists, everybody loved Studio One, and it was always a great vibe. But Mr. Dad tried to do engineering himself, which he really wasn't great at, in all honesty. And he had another gentleman called Bim Bim who was kind of training to help him out. Bim Bim didn't have it like that, to be honest.
Mm.
So since Sylvan Morris, um, you could hear a drop in terms of quality because it was Sid Buckner before. So you just think back about all the many great tracks you want to think about. Would be Sid Buckner. Then Sylvan Morris came through. And he stayed there for a long time. I recorded a ton of real wicked tunes. After that, we started to lose that kind of vibe.
What year was it? What year do you think that drop off for you happened?
I think we're talking about 72, 73, 70s, early 70s. As I remember, during those times, I was doing songs like I'm a Revolutionist, Run Come Rally Round, Rastaman Camp. Those kind of songs, that's Studio One. So,
I want to talk about the generation gap. So were you the in the band, the Generation Gap?
yes, I was.
What were you, singer, drummer? What did you cover in that band? Because I'm a big Leslie Butler fan.
You said Leslie Butler?
Yeah, Leslie Butler, man.
Great.
He had some really cool tunes. And he was in that band as well.
Brother of Harold Butler too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So, what was the question you asked me? I'm sorry.
Just talking about the generation gap.
Generation gap. Oh, yeah, that bring back a lot of memories now. Generation gap from about 1971. I remember I was living in a community in 3 Mile area called Delacree Lane, which is in the woods, in a real tough neighborhood. And it wasn't happening at the time because we were always recording at Studio One, but us as artists, we really struggled being at Studio One after like the Eptones era and Ken Boot and all of that, because the music started to change and started to have difficulty, and marketing started to move in, and those who understood it then used the opportunity. I would think that Mr. Dad didn't have a great team in those areas, so he lost out quite a bit on that, but not to take anything away from him still. So what I'm trying to say is, as he struggles, us the artists around him struggle. Because we're not getting the kind of marketing to make the songs. I'm talking about now, like from Johnny Osborne, Sugar Mine, and Jennifer Lara, that era, and Channel One Rose, and Channel One saw this new bright, magnificent sound,
Right.
and everyone was heading Maxfield Avenue now, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, Sly and the Revolutionaries was there. You
Mm-hmm.
could get it better. So, you know, those are
Right.
some factors too. So Sugar Man had started to record channel, and you know, Johnny started to do some stuff, and so we're starting to drift. But my love for Mr. Dodd and Studio One was really difficult for me to to leave Mr. Dodd or do anything outside of Mr. Dodd based on the relationship that I
Personal relationship. Yeah.
yeah, so
True.
I stayed there for as long as I could until 1979 when Nine convinced me to do an album with him because Nine started to tell me that my name was getting popular in England, that people loved me in England, but I was still in Jamaica, so I wouldn't have known these things.
This is 90 The Observer you're talking about?
90 The Observer
Right.
encouraged me to do an album together. We did the album, it's called Mr. McGregor.
Great album, man.
Yes, thank you. I love
Yeah.
that album. Jack and Count and I, Holy Mount Zion, real wicked album.
Yeah.
And,
The song we got love is
oh my,
I
yeah.
love it, man. And then Sitting in the Park, you did a Billy Stewart cover. And I love that because Alton Ellis had done the same thing earlier, right? So what was the you know, the move to do that cover?
Well, it was just, those are the songs that I loved, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just as you growing up, you know, those are some of the songs I love. And, you know, you just keep thinking, wow, maybe this could be the right time to do a song like this because people love this song. And,
Which you do an amazing version because, like I said, Alton Ellis has done it. Countless amounts of people have done it, but your version is up there with one of the best.
yeah, I can hear it now in my head too. I love the recording, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We had great times recording those songs, and those are happiest recording sessions because the musicians were somehow already familiar with those songs. So everybody, you know, really had fun playing the songs. And yes, it was Soul Syndicate Band, along with some of Roots Radix as well on different tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Those were very exciting sessions.
And you mentioned, you know, staying at Studio One until the late 70s, and that late 70s era of Studio One that you were a crucial part of the resurgence of the, you know, both as a singer and producer when the reversioning of the rhythms was going on. And could you tell us a little bit about that era? Because I mean, I just think so many people love that era, and specifically I'm really interested in what the sound system and the dance halls were like at a Coxsone dance at that time when those you know, we started reversioning those rhythms and stuff.
Okay, so I didn't get the early part of the Duke Reed Coxsone dances. And I guess I was much too young to be a part of that kind of thing, but growing up knowing about it. However, but from the part you just mentioned a while ago, yes. And what you saw me know, what made Sugar Minott become a great Studio One artist is that Sugar is truly a dancehall guru, if I could use that term.
Yeah.
Genuinely, Sugar loved music in a serious way. So Sugar would go to every dance and listen to what the selectors were playing. And if they were playing tum, pitum, 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 tum, pim, piti, pitim, pitim, tim, tomorrow check Mr. Dad, and say, Mr. Dad, you know, say, they might play the rhythm there, you know, in the dance, you know. And Mr. Dad, I say, yeah, Jackson. I say, so you want the song, and I say, yeah, Mr. Dad. I saw him do Mr. DC, you know, kind of sound them, I play the track, and, you know, Sugar was really up to date with that kind of thing. Most of the Studio One rhythms that him draw for, that's how he really come up with them. Go to the different dances, hear what them are play, tell Mr. Dad, and then voice with them. That Sugar and I were real brothers, you know?
Man, I don't know what I wouldn't give to be at one of those dances at that time.
And around that time, it's, you know, Bobby Bobylon over the the Jackie Matu One Step Beyond rhythm, right?
Oh.
Because I'm a big Jackie fan. So when I first heard,
Oh, I love Jackie too.
so,
All right,
so
I'm trying to get every Jackie too record I can find.
Yeah.
one day you and me will get together and we'll just play records and hang out and
Okay.
listen to Jackie.
Oh, Jackie's excellent. Excellent.
So that song was late. It's called One Step Beyond, the instrumental, to Bobylon.
Yeah.
And so, was that something that you gravitated towards, and you like that rhythm, and so that's
No,
what you.
actually, because it's a great question, and I love to be honest about them.
Mhm.
Mr. Dodd, he's a genius. And Mr. Dodd always try find ways and find means of helping to break me, because Mr. Dodd believed in my talent. Um, so we tried out numerous songs from Johnny Cash to Johnny Mattis to starting all over again to you name it. I can tell some great covers with the studio one. And I guess Mr. Dad did those things in trying to find, find where I fit best and kind of songs. He's really a genius like that. But it was him who brought that rhythm to me.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember one day he said to me, Jackson, I have a bad rhythm for you, Jackson. We'll revise it this evening, all right? I was Spanish Town, drop off some record. So, man, listen to rhythm. We used to have a cassette machine around the back. Give him the rhythm and he said, man, listen to it and work out the thing. We'll come back over and advice. So in the evening now, studio will free up, everything good. Just before studio that closed. We're going to have a start advice it. And I'm going to come up with this idea. Brought us something here in captivity. So he said to me, yeah, what Jackson? I'm call everybody Jackson. He said, Jackson, sing something about the police in England. In England, we call them Bobbies. The Bobbies.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, yeah. And I say, yeah, man, Bobbies. So right away, we come up with an idea, Bobylon.
Nice.
Bobby Bobylon, the wrong man. And, just go along and just get the vibe and put it together. The problem I had with the song now, though, I think I was singing the song too sweet at first, with too much tremolo and too melodious. And him kept saying to me, all right, Jackson, just one thing now. I want you to sing it rude boy style, Tried quite a few times, like 4 or 5 times. I'm not getting it, I was still sing the song sweet and the Bobylon too sweet, And stop one time and him said to me, listen, Jackson, all right, want it be like bad boy thing, rough it up. When him say rough it up, I would think to myself, and I say, okay, maybe want it like more. Him don't want it polished. Yeah, that's the sense when we get some. I say, oh, so I want it more ragamuffin like. So I say, all right, yeah, try it again, Mr. That. And I put on the rhythm. And we get the vibe, man. And we start punch it, Bobby, you're wrong, man. And then I say, yes, Jackson, that me I talk about. Take one now. And, we go through the song and that's how we get it.
Wow.
Sometimes it take a while to learn and get the understanding of certain things, but if you're patient, you eventually will get it.
That's crazy.
And I have the same question about the tune Africa Here I Come from that same era. I mean,
Wow.
How did that tune come about?
Wow, same thing. Like I said, Sugar usually identified bad rhythms them. And so I realized that at once I started identify some bad rhythms too. And the country rhythm, that's Mr. Dad. Because we really call the shots them in terms of those things wrong, Mr. Dad, Him kind of actually look to us to do that. So tell him what I want, keep him with what I want, bad rhythm them we are running. And I said, Mr. Dad, the country rhythm, man. One evening we'll get together, start voice it again. Same thing. Africa, Here I Come. Big song.
Big song.
Yeah, man.
And what were those? I mean, I know Bobylon was Africa Here I Come really popular in the dance as well?
Yes, it became one of my really strong songs, because at that time now you have a fleet of songs that come out with a different consciousness. So And I think that's when we basically start say Rastafari.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Through the 12 tribes of Israel. And if you notice lyrically, the content start to change. Babylon, Africa Here I Come. There was songs like Mark of the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
There was Bandolo. There was so many other tracks coming in that vein at the time at Studio One.
Right.
And it's just transition and different vibe as they go, things change.
Our good friend Mr. Blake Coley is in the comment section here. And by the way, people, if you have a question for Mr. Freddie, you can ask it in the comments. He wants to know. He says it was just Dennis Brown's birthday, and Freddie posted an amazing picture of the two of them on Instagram. Would love to hear any and all memories and stories of Dennis that Freddie has.
that would be many, and
Well, pick a good one.
Mhm. Pick the most embarrassing one.
no,
I'm joking.
no, but wow, Dennis, so many man. Dennis is a real brother, Dennis
Mhm.
and I, yeah, we develop the kind of love we develop for each other through music is really special. So him and I became really close. The next person I was extremely close to was Gregory. So I remember one night Dennis had a series that we do every year called Dennis Brown and Friends Inseparable. Big show at the National Arena. Everybody look forward to it every year. And like I had done it last year, so this year was my time to just hang out. And I went backstage. I see some pictures of us hanging out backstage at that event. And so, go backstage, go look for Dennis. I think he went out and did a first set, came back, changed, was ready for second set. So while he was changing them clothes, I walked into the dressing room. So when I walk out of the dressing room and come see me, excitement and hug me, and he said to me, "Oh, priest, oh brother," he said, "Come let me, I lose my voice. I don't know what I'm going to manage tonight. It's like you're going to come help me out too." And I laugh at me, I said, "No, man." But when I'm attack, you can hear him really hoarse. And quick thinking, I called up a friend that came with us, Barry. I said, "Barry, go buy some sugar cane." Barry run on the front, grab some sugar cane and come back. And then it's out. And when him talk, I felt sorry for him, honestly. I was say, "Devin, eat some of that cane and you're gonna be alright." And he had some of the sugar cane, and by the time the MC Tamiko one was ready and everything, and Dennis walked out there, it was like magic.
Wow.
Until before he passed, he always hug me up and laugh about it because I always remember it. And I think it's true too. I don't know what it is with sugar cane
Mhm.
and whatever I do to one's vocal, but it works
Wow.
for me too.
Wow, I never knew that. I gotta try
Does.
that out.
Yeah, if I'm
Wow.
ever worse, eat a piece of sugar cane and
Devin, you're gonna have to try sugar cane next time your voice.
I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna get some sugar cane.
I
You know,
always,
Jaeger bombs work for me, so I'm just.
no, I always have sugar cane. Always.
wow. My I never got to see Dennis Brown live, but in 1999, I went to here in Los Angeles to the UCLA Reggae Festival, and the bill was Freddie McGregor and Dennis Brown, and we got to the show, and they had big signs posted saying, unfortunately Dennis is ill and won't be performing tonight. So we saw you, and it was a great show, but Dennis passed a few days later. So I've always been like, man, I missed Dennis Brown by just one show.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, and just so sad, but
Yeah.
works goes on. I miss them every time too. Miss them always. I always think about the friendship, good
Right.
times, the memories, the jokes. Somebody will make you laugh in your week. Him and Gregory, not to mention Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never be sad around them. And that's probably something I miss the most.
Wow.
Apart from talent, of course.
Right.
Mhm.
A lot of people in the comments are mentioning Big Ship, and I think this is maybe the time we have to ask you about that tune. If you could maybe, it's just such a classic. It's just one of
That's
the.
a magic song.
So I know you've probably talked about this many times, but if you wouldn't mind telling us, the story behind that
Oh,
song.
it's
And
easy. It was at the time because after that 90 album project, the next project I did outside of that was with Linval Thompson.
Little Thompson, yeah.
And enough respect to Linval. I love him. That's my brother. My
Right.
brother. Linval. Real great, honest people. Loving people. And so we've always had a good relationship, still me and Linval. And so after that 90 project, Linval approached me. And kind of stutter, and he said to me, why me and you can do a project and go England together. Because he's been to England, him and Jojo a couple times. I don't kind of know the settings and develop this relationship with Green Sleeves and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
start showing me the ropes, and I figured, yeah, not a bad idea. So we embarked on recording the tracks at Channel One. So every day I would pick him up and we drive to the studio, play some tracks, he make some rounds, come back in the evening, and we've been at it for about 2-3 months. And one morning I went to pick him up early at his house, and he lives in Stonehill, so that's overlooking our seaport. But it was early, so it was misty in the morning from where he lives, and you could merely see through the mist down to the seaport. But I was sitting in a swing waiting on him to get ready. And I had a box guitar, man. And lo and behold, I saw this huge ship just slowly coming into the harbor with some containers on there. And my first meditation was, whoa, Black Star Line, you know. And then just watch it slowly coming into the harbor. And then Linval came to the door and beckoned to me and said, may I come? I was like, Linval, come here. Look on that ship there. How it big. And come and took him a few seconds and then him see it, and
It's 10 o'clock.
him comment, him say, whoa, it's really big. And went inside to get ready again. So I'm out there strum the guitar, F major 7, G minor chord. I play big ship sailing. Just big ship sailing on the ocean. That's all. The entire morning, that's all I play. And we went to Channel One, we recorded a bunch of songs. Never remember anything about that. And at the end of the session, when Flabber plug out him bass style, zip up him drum bag, and Bingy Bunny plug out him guitar, I remember the idea. I'm gonna stop and beckon to them and say, yo, I have one more song we never remember. And everybody pause and walk around the keyboard. I'm gonna start playing the thing F major 7, G minor. I'm gonna play big ship sailing on the ocean. Still walk over to the keyboard, and while me play the bang, he might play a tag then can, and so Flabber take out him bass, plug it back in, and draw him finger over it to boom, tim boom, tim boom. So style right at them and zip him jump bag, take out him 6 and go around there. Cooking, dim. Go, go. And everybody inside of the engineering room started shout out, it's song. And that was it.
Wow.
About a week after, went back and actually write the lyrics.
Oh, okay. Wow.
History.
So it's just on the power of that hook alone, you guys
Oh, yeah.
made it. Wow.
Sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
That's really cool to hear, because there's a lot of times too, the artist will say, "Oh, we never knew it was going to be a hit at that time," or whatever. But the fact that you said that the session was wrapped up, and that everyone's kind of in the mentality to go, and they're like, "No, let me take the drums back out. Let's get this going." That speaks a
It
lot.
was as a result of the groove that I was
Yeah.
on the piano.
Right.
So sometimes, you can sense a hit song, really.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just came back and just 15 and boom. That was big hit song.
Wow.
It's because how many songs in Jamaican music are similar chord changes? F to G minor. It happens all the time, but that song is just really, it's magic. You put it on, and the second, like first time you hear it, you're like, oh wait, what is this? Like, it's gonna be a hit. It's true. It's just something about it, like you said, the piano.
Well, some of the things that work for me personally is some of the things that I take from what I learned at Studio One.
Mhm.
For example, harmonies. I love harmonies. I respect harmonies.
Yeah.
I think to color a song and make it really beautiful, harmony plays an important role. When you listen to heptones, when you listen to Baba Andy, and the different people. Sometimes it's actually Gaylads and Eptones doing the harmony
Mm-hmm.
for Baba the track, and like it amazes you, like wow, listen to this.
Right.
You know, you listen to Abyssinia and you're like, what the heck is this? You know, stuff like that. So it really colors the song, and especially if you can get it right.
Right. No,
So
for
it is
sure.
like horns and stuff. Too. Not every song probably require it, but there are some songs you can, just polish it up a little and get a difference.
Speaking of horns, in the comments, Edmund Alexander Keenan, he's posted this a couple times now. He said, "I want to know the story of Push Comes to Shove horn lick."
Ah, okay. At the time, recording songs like Push Come to Shove, the kind of mood that I was in was very competitive. I was itching to compete
Right.
because one of the things is, courtesy of Earl China Smith, one of our greatest guitar players. China really turned me onto a lot of music that I wasn't into that lane at the time. One in particular was Earth, Wind and Fire.
Mm.
Started to love Earth, Wind and Fire, and I would start listening to Steely Dan and a bunch of other stuff, and I'm like, no, this is serious. So I must start love creativity, and I said, whoa, we can make some songs and we can add some creativity to it, even though the base of it may be this particular pattern, but we can really make it nice. So when I recorded the rhythm track for Push Come to Shove, that was it. I said to my brother and best friend Dalton Browning, I said, Dalton, I don't want to use a straight scale guitar. I'm a European, I'm here to go. More kind of mental thing. But it really complementing the rhythm, the way the rhythm was grooving, you know? And then it was Tony Kelly, the engineer. After we laid the track, there was a synthesizer keyboard on the counter. And I said to him, Tony, we hear some sounds from this. I was going through different sounds. And I heard one. Come on. And I said, well, I'll go back to that song. And we'll find about the song. And we go, come on. And I said, that song good enough. I say, I like it. And I say, yeah, man, but record it. And I recorded it. And that has become a real signature intro.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes it just appears.
Wow.
So, the hand section, like he asked. So now, after doing all of that to the song and listening, I said, whoa, so that song could have take a nice, good jazzy hand programming. And I got with it and Carl Dean Fraser, Nambo Robinson, Chico, and I say, I have an idea for this song. So I wanted it to have a little jazz sound like based on the rhythm bong. So I come up with Spy da 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 Spy da 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 Spy da do be do be Spy do bum 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 bum. And I think
Heavy.
that was really magical because it really complemented the song in a way. With the synthesizer sound that we got from Chopper John, who was a member of the Bloodfire Posse, and the song really just came together in a nice way. And that's what it is today. Push Come to Shove, one of my biggest and nicest songs.
Beautiful. Wow.
That's a trip. I mean, a lot of musicians, a lot of great singers don't wear all those hats, and you already have that producer, arranger bug in you. And that's just that that equals success in life.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that. That's probably all I wanted to be. To do.
Is it true that the Judy Mowatt album, Black Woman, that you kind of took that
Well,
role?
I was a producer for the album.
Right.
If you go back and look at the album, you'll see where I played drums on a lot of tracks on that album, including Black Woman. I played drums on Black Woman itself. We recorded that track at Tough Gang Bob Marley 56 Oak Road Studio. It was during those times while I was recording the Black Woman album, I recorded a song called Jogging.
Jogging, that's the tune. Is that you on drums on that?
Yes, I played drums. And funny, I'll tell you. All right, so Bob was playing football outside and took a break, walked into the studio, saw me playing drums. Bars and like, they listening about him, you know. Come out of the voice room. I say, you're a tunist. I say, yeah. So I put on a demo voice on the track. He went back outside, finishing ball game. Put on a demo on the track and put on the backing vocal. Yes, them wearing Adidas or them wearing the Puma. They wearing that
Oh wow.
and jacking on the song in Babylon. Man. So it's the same thing we were talking about earlier. Because I couldn't just leave the song like that. So you want to spice up the song, you know, give it some flair, give it some melodies, make it sound great, you know, like the harmonies. And so by the time he came back into the studio, song sounded almost complete. I were able to do backing vocals and everything. He walked into the studio with Chris Blackwell at that time. I didn't know Chris Blackwell at the time, but know of him. And so them walk inside and start listening to the song and some Blackwell rock him head to it and then Bob called me outside the engineer room. I walked out. And I'm saying, no, this man. I said, no. I said, this is Chris Blackwell. I say, you produce the song? And I say, yes. And I say, you write it too? I say, yeah. I say, Mr. Blackwell interested in it, you know. But I'm going to make you go NASA, I'm going to mix the song. And I will make Tamako and take care of it. And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, Mr. Blackwell buy me a ticket to NASA. And when I went to NASA, it was Jack Newber, an engineer, great engineer named Jack Newber,
All right.
Alex Zadkin, and Myla Burden from Jamaica, and we used to manage Tam Tam Club, Chris Stanley. Those are the three engineers at Compass Point Recording Studio. We spent about 2 weeks, mixed the song, and Island finally put it out. And that's an outstanding song still. I mean, everywhere. People always request that song. We always
It's a
try
great
to
tune.
do that.
It's a great tune. I play guitar in a band here in LA called the Lions, and there's some great singers in the group, some LA guys.
Wow.
And we used to cover that tune, and those guys could really sing, and I would just be there, just enjoying it so much. Like such a bad tune, heavy.
Nice. You
Jogging.
can hear me there, not as a great drummer, but holding the fort still.
Nah, man, it's like we talk
When I
about.
listen back to those songs today, I laugh, Because like if I was playing drums today on that song, I would have been able to play a much better quality drums. But then you just listen and you laugh because that's what it was at the time.
But do you think that it was the perfect recipe for what it was, and that was a testament
To me, and that was what it was at that.
Right.
As everything comes with its own time,
Mm-hmm.
space, and season. So
Right.
I just respect everything that happened over the time. Sometimes it still amazes me, to like from the time I've been singing, which luckily I have the songs on like YouTube and other formats, so they are there, So Freddie, you listen to me hear some babies singing pretty much. And I oftentimes ask myself, how come? I mean, I'm still singing from then till now.
Is the dumpling song on YouTube?
No.
Oh,
That song was never recorded.
we have to record it. What's
No,
going
I
on?
tell you something. We recorded that song with my son Stephen McGregor,
Right.
and Tiger.
Wow.
That's
The
crazy.
dancehall artist Tiger.
Yeah, the artist Tiger.
Wow.
We back, and
Tiger's funny.
we still have those. We still have those sessions too. So I think eventually you will see some of those things appear. But I myself have never recorded song.
Man,
Many
okay,
people I should too.
If you
And
see,
maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should.
if you see in Roger's background there, he's got all the studio equipment and stuff, and Roger's got a real nice setup there and gets a real old school sound. We should, when
We should do
COVID's
it.
over, we'll fly you out to LA.
Wow.
put the band together and record the old school version of
We
Dumpling.
have some real good friends, musician friends out there, and everything, you know.
Let me ask you this: was
Nice.
it at the time? It seems like was it like a boogie woogie kind of shuffle groove, like a what was the song? What kind of groove was it?
Roll dumpling.
Dumpling, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're talking dumpling now.
Yeah. Yeah, can I say where we grew up, you know, we like dumpling is a staple in our community, you know. Like I said, it's a sugar cane community, so we don't have much things there. So but the local song was kinda like roll dumpling roll dumpling roll. If you want to know how dumpling sweet, dip it in a coconut oil. Do. You know, minus a baby voice.
I'm here.
So
We could go record that like a early reggae, like a Genie, Genie,
It could be.
Genie,
yeah, we
Genie.
could
Just
take that
do it,
easily too. But you
man.
know, it's just a kind of thing. I guess as a kid, coming up with something like that make the musicians and everybody laugh. So
Mm-hmm.
I easily became everybody's friend. You know, and at one point, being at the studio, I became like that little gopher. If Jackie wanted a pack of cigarette across the street and a beer, well, like little Freddie, go over and B and get a pack of cigarette and a beer and a soft drink for yourself. So me run go and get that fast, come back. And the next person want the same thing, little
Mhm.
Freddie, buy a pack of cigarette for him, buy a beer, and take the change for yourself. Right away back fast in the
Oh man,
quiet, you know.
you
So
were stoked. You probably had all kinds of ice cream and treats.
I know, but the main thing was that everybody really loved and respected me.
Right.
So when it was time for me and Ernest to record my first song, it was Bonnie Wheeler who got 3 beer boxes from the back of the sedan and warehouse. And those were original red stripe beer boxes. We stuck the 3 of them together so I could stand on it to reach the height, same height with
Wow.
Ernest. So yeah, these two are far, you know. And I remember Jabby and Bob and them from those early days, Sister Rita, everybody. It's been a long way.
What was that first tune that you recorded with the three of them that day at Studio One? That first session.
With
No, what was the first tune with the Clarendonians at that first day at Studio One you mentioned? What was the
no,
tune?
I didn't record a song with Ernest and Peter as Clarendonians.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
All right. I have a song on the Clarendonian album that was done by me and Ernest only, not Peter.
Mm,
It's called Do Good.
right. Do good.
So
Do
when you
good.
get a
Do.
chance, so that's not Peter and Ernest. You'll hear the difference with Ernest and a younger kid. So that would be me and Ernest.
Ah, okay.
But I guess I don't know if Mr. That was short and tracks with the Clarendonians. As you notice, Clarendonians didn't do a second album.
Right.
after that. So
Was that credited to Freddie and Fitzy?
Fitzy and Freddie, but I don't
Fitzy,
know. I must look at the record again. I'm not sure if it says Fitzy and Freddie.
Right.
I mean, it comes out as Fitzy and Freddie
Ah.
and 7-inch. But
Right.
I guess so. People just eventually associate me with being the Clarendonians because of all of the scenarios that I told you about earlier.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, those are my brothers still, and those are the people who brought me into the mix. So I'm always grateful to them and enough respect.
Right. Well, there's a tune that I got to ask you about because this is, and I have it here. This is maybe my personal favorite, Freddie McGregor, 1983 hit-bound 10-inch called "Roman Soldiers." And I wanted to ask you about this tune, "Roman Soldiers." You know this one? Remember this one? We never ever ever run.
Boy, when Roman soldiers are come,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
heavy tune.
that's a bad tune. Where did you find that?
I've had that for years. Another band that I was in, the Expanders, we always used to sing that one too. Just we had a different tune, and we would, at the end of it, we would come in and sing those, and Satan turn loose, come
Yes,
to fool the youth.
the bass line in that tune. Yeah, mean tune. Jeez, you know something? You see that particular track?
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Brown played bass on that track.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
D Brown played bass on that track. And I'll tell you another song that D Brown played bass on. Another song called Dum Dum Bim Boom Pity Pity Boom Boom Titi Boom. RJ Studio we were recording. And I was actually playing bass on a track named Lovers Rock JS time. And Dennis walk into the studio and see me and say, "What Priest? Are you are going so?" Say, "Priest, give me one day, give me one day." So I saw him the bass guitar and did it wickedly. D Brown, real real brethren, real brother, talented.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So what do you? So Dennis Brown was on bass on Roman Soldiers. Do you remember anything else about that session or writing the tune?
Yeah, I think if my memory serves me right, I think 90 was the one who produced that track.
All right.
I think so.
It's
But
a
it's
hit.
pardon me?
I was gonna say it's Channel One. That's what I know. I mean, at least it came out on Channel One Hit Band
All
in
right, so
1983.
so it will be the 9 year Lynn father, and I'm more inclined to think it's 9. You know. But I'll check and be sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a all right, I have a thing about me where it's when the rhythm nice, you gonna get a hit song.
It's a good
Yeah,
thing.
nice rhythm attract nice songs.
It's
You know,
very true.
sometimes you have to listen to a rhythm track and determine whether this track need a love song or a culture song.
Mm-hmm.
These are things you have to be able to determine based on the movement of the song. But I enjoy that era of my songs, and people always refer to me as a wicked lovers rock singer too. But I think I just love a lot of my culture songs. Them.
Me too.
Hmm.
I have a lot of them.
Yeah, I gravitate to those personally as well. The culture tunes, and
Yes,
that
sir.
and you're mentioning that rhythm and how nice it is, and it's slow in comparison to other
Yeah.
stuff. And I wanted to ask you about that because Roger and I were actually talking about this at the top of the show today because I played a tune, a Studio One Gaylads tune that was real slow, and I was kind of saying how I wish that in the dance hall, it would become more acceptable nowadays to play a slow song and have people kind of groove to it. Like not everything's gonna be super fast.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you about that. Was there a time, in Jamaican sound systems where you could play a tune with that kind of slow groove and
Certainly. That's
man,
what we grew up. That's what made the dancehall nice and interesting. You know, those laid back bass lines. And you hit it with one drop and you find lots of time to rap. You know? But these days, like you say, everything goes at lightning speed.
yeah,
So they've lost the groove, you know.
Hmm.
There's
even
no there's no real groove that you can groove to, whether
mhm.
slow or fast, and just enjoy the thing. But wow, I am I'm gonna tell you, I am thankful that I've been in music at the time I arrived, 1963. What are we? 2021, all right?
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's almost 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I've seen lots of changes, and I was hoping by now the changes would have us at a different place,
Hmm.
meaning that we would have grown in so much. Because I truly think there's a great legacy
Hmm.
there for even the younger ones to draw from and do great things.
Yeah.
But it's still there. So hopefully the kids will see it and utilize them. We talked about Jackie Mito earlier. Jackie Mito has some incredible rhythms.
Yeah.
And just go back and listen to some Jackie Mito and Hot Milk and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
magic.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't realize is he was, creating these rhythms. I mean, even the Past the Dutch, he was a song called
Oh,
Full Up, and the Full Up
magic,
rhythm is like an organ
magic,
instrumental. You know,
magic, magic.
between Jackie and Leroy Sibbles, there were so many
Oh,
standard
yeah.
rhythms that came out of Studio One.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Oh, yes.
yeah, man,
So
And that.
that creativity is what we need to see come forward.
Hmm.
true.
Create, rather than just download a rhythm track, buy a bass line, buy a drum track, put it together. But create from within, create something authentic. That's something I always try to do. I
Hmm.
always try to lead, and I want to be in the lead, and I want to create something that is different, all in the same boat. Um, we were pushed through the same Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff that I talked to you earlier about. And
Right.
when we went back to Jamaica that year, it was 1975. And I said to Chino, boy, yo, Chino, because that concert blew my mind until today. That Earth and Fire concert. I mean, they had a lot of fandangos going on and explosion and Morris White coming out of pyramid and the lighting and all. They freaked me out. You talk about Jamaica, go see that kind of thing. It was really crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
plus, a group of love so much. Um, but then it really opened me up and, starting creatively. I mean, I say, yo, we can do this, man. And I think All in the Same Boat is one of the songs I love the most
Hmm.
on that album because during that period, we were into a different creative mode
Mm-hmm.
and telling ourselves that we can go all the way. Spam, 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 spam down, spam, spam up, spam, spam up, beep, beep, speed, beep, just experiment and do some things where
Mm-hmm. The
are
ma- the
really nice.
main ingredients tune, right? The just
Just
don't
so
want
much
to be
to on it.
lonely.
Well, it's funny that something is going on here because it's funny. Maybe 7 of 10 people that you would talk to about that song, they would say main ingredients are said first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I come from an era where I grew up on those songs. Um, I think main ingredients did a version of it in the 70s, mid or late 70s, with a talk in the intro.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The original of that song is a wonderful gentleman, sings like a bird. His name is Ronnie Dyson. Yes, Ronnie Dyson. He
Hmm.
has another big song called um, In Your Garden, Wednesday in Your Garden. Yeah, you should check Ronnie Dyson.
All
Gotta
right.
Check
check
his
that out.
check his version of Just So Want to Be Lonely. That's the original version.
I love that. Right.
Nice.
Main ingredients came way down, kind of funky era.
Mm-hmm.
They did a really great version of it. Trust me, but Ronnie Dyson.
All right, we're gonna
Gotta
check
check that
that.
out.
We have a question here from Jeff. He says, "Can you please talk about recording the song Westbound Train for the Jacob Miller tribute album and your memories of Jacob Miller?"
Jeez, whoa. Honestly, I don't remember much about that session.
Hmm.
To be honest, I know I was approached about it, and well, of course, I wouldn't say no. But as for Jacob Miller, no. Jacob is my brother, my little brother. That you see, when I used to live, Ernest and I used to live in an area called Hagley Park, in Jamaica. It's like it's in the hood, but it's a nice part of the hood, and we used to take the number 15 bus from where we live to go to Retirement Road and get off the bus at Retirement Road and walk down to Brentford Road. And so Jacob Miller lived at Maxfield Avenue at the corner of Russell Road. So after a while, Jacob started to come studio with myself and Ernest. So meet us on the number 15 bus because we have to pass this out. Go come off Retirement Road and studio. And we tell Mr. Dad, Ernest and myself, I said, Mr. Dad, the friend Jacob and him can sing. And Mr. Dad, I say, yeah. Jackson sings something up here, And Jacob starts singing, Love is a message that I must send to you, waiting for a reply no matter how long it takes. And Mr. Dad saying, so Jackson make him come Wednesday when you come. And that's how Jacob went to studio one and actually recorded that.
Wow.
And Jacob was far, far, far. Jacob was my brother. Nice. Well, you have to actually know him to know. Really nice. And sadly missed too. So when the
Hmm.
project came up, it was a no-brainer for me
Right.
personally. But now, man, when Jacob passed and it was on a Sunday, I'll never forget. Because I was going to a 12 tribe meeting when I got the news. And like everything just went blank. But yes, oh, spirit rest in peace.
One of the greats.
Yeah, man, brother.
Wow. I had never heard that you took him to Studio One. That's great.
That's so great. Yeah, because he must have been young then too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, of course. Yeah, him sound. If you listen back to Love Is a Message, Jacob, young chap.
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy.
That's beautiful, man.
I love hearing. Who else was the? Just hearing about the youth like coming in Studio One very young. I think Delroy Wilson was another
Johnny
one.
Osborne, Delroy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Delroy was the first and the youngest.
right.
Because when I went to Studio One, Delroy was the youngest kid that I could interact with.
Mm.
Okay, okay.
Everybody else was big people.
You and Delroy were going and fetching cigarettes and stuff for the band.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I
And
love it.
Delroy spent enough time out at the front. Delroy was a bigger man for me, still bigger youth for me. But
Hmm.
we used to sit down at the front of the studio because there were different mango trees. And when the mango them drop on the rooftop and roll off,
Hmm.
it was always a race who get the mango. They were special mangoes, really nice.
Oh,
And
nice.
Delroy, we get I'd probably say most of the mangoes. So everybody usually check we for mangoes.
I've heard about that mango tree at Studio One. Leonard Dillon from the Ethiopians was talking about
Okay. Yeah, as I
that.
said, I remember the group right now, like looking at them.
Wow.
Studio One was special. That was a university, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I never go to college. I never graduated from those places. Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
So I kind of make sure my kids get the opportunity to do so.
Hmm.
And my first experience at graduation was when I went to my son's graduation. And I graduated from high school and I saw the whole procedure and everything because I never get that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I was so busy trying to forge my way into music and making a career out of music so I could help my parents. So that was my motivation. But yes, Larry Marshall,
Mm-hmm.
Burning Spear when he came, Horace Sandy when he came, Sugar, Jennifer, Viceroy, you name it. You
Hmm.
name it. Countless.
What was that like when you heard Burning Spear for the first time? Because to me, it just looking back from this vantage point, like it seemed like something like out of left field. Like, what is this?
It was
I
special.
love Burning Spear
It
so
was
much.
special. It was special because when Spear came, he was one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody sounded like him. This was just different. Yo, you hear this? When the sun goes down, different.
Yeah.
And you can't miss Burning Spear. And so that was a really great era. But it really it's just so interesting to have been there. So when these virgin come a foggy road,
Yeah.
you know. Horace, I remember when Horace came, Skylarking. I think the biggest one though was Dennis Brown. Because that's how Dennis and I became so close. Was really from the connection at Studio One.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mr. Dad was reminding us for about a week that Dennis Brown coming to the studio. So basically every car was to park outside there. Well, Whoop says Dennis Brown, until one day it was really Dennis Brown. And it's this slick looking youth and but a nice barefoot pants and a puff sleeve shirt and look like a real superstar.
Mm.
Nice smile and afro.
Hmm.
Dennis Brown. Just come greet everybody. One great vibe. So again, because I live at Mr. Dad's house, I was able to be in the studio and watch all of them happening, most of the sessions, because this is me. After the session on the studio closed, we are going home in the Buick AE231. So basically, you get a chance to hear the songs before them even complete, and the whole process of it really interesting. I
Wow.
used to press record and run at back of the studio too, as I said,
Oh,
had a pressing plan.
yeah.
Yes, so when there was no session going on, the drummer Leroy Asmouth Wallace,
Mm-hmm.
Earl Morgan from the Heptones, they used to press records around there. They're professional. I don't know what term they use for that. But that's what they do. They're skilled at it.
Right.
And I used to go around there every day and hang out with them and look what they do. So after a while, sometimes when we do have sessions, I must have that down, take care of stuff. We just go around there and press records, you know. Just get the vinyl, put it on to the record, have the label up, press it, press the lever, push it on, give it the required time, ease the lever, pull that out, the die out, flip it, take out the record, put it on a little pile, and you put a thing on it, spins and cut the record, take it out, and you stop it. Yeah.
Did
You
what
gotta
was
be
the
careful of your fingers, right?
Well, yeah. But it was fun doing those things because it's just part of learning.
when you left to work with 90? How was that with Coxon? Was it smooth, or what was there?
No, it was always smooth, man. I love Mr. Dad. It was just a time when, we had reached a point where I had to move on.
Right.
Because at that point, Joe Gibbs went to New York.
Mm.
Then Randy's saw the opportunity and moved on. And Channel One started to establish a base as well. So Mr. Dad was kind of basically the last one to make his move,
Right. Right.
And so we were there struggling with the program just to see him. So at this point, what are we going to do?
Exactly. Yeah.
We have to try and do what we have to do. It was really painful having to part. But even after I made my move with both 90 and Lynn Valentin, I always had a great relationship with Mr. Dad. As I always go back and look for Mr. Dad and Mrs. Dad.
Nice.
So we were always, man. When I built my studio, Mr. Dad was the first person who gave me a headphone setup. As he just asked me one day, what you gonna need? I'm gonna tell him what I need. And say, before you leave, take them to me.
Nice.
Real daddy, man.
That's amazing to hear, man. I did not know that relationship.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
That's awesome, man.
Could you just imagine living at the Dodd household at that time and just
Because you see, all right, at that time, I never used to talk, Never used to talk much because I never have anything to talk about. Me just come from countries. The first time was the living room, chairs, carpet runner, proper dining table. Because when we come from a countries like Africa, we have a dirt floor and our kitchen is 3 stone. We use them at the fireside and thing. But yeah, it made the food nice, I think, But yeah, that's life we were accustomed to. So living at Mr. Dad's house was a whole new thing for me. Mrs. Dad taught me how to use knife and fork, how to rest my hands on the table and stuff like those I wouldn't know otherwise, because I was living with my parents at the time. She really played an important role as a mother would to a child.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I could only imagine the things that Coxon had. You mentioned an amazing car. I can only imagine the house in comparison to other places.
Yeah, because where he lived at the time would be considered an upper scale community. Not so much now today, but we were talking about many years. But back then, yes, Pembroke was a massive upper scale community. Fitting for a Buick, of course.
Right.
You got to use that license plate for a song. It's got to be a hook.
AE321.
Yeah, something that might just happen too.
That's a hook right there.
And on the flip side, Dumpling.
Yeah, Dumpling's on the flip side. Yeah, I don't know. Dumpling ain't no flip side song. That's
it's not a flip
side.
Side. Well, it's one of those records. It's a killer.
Something to think about. Yeah, I think it's something we should read the record. For the record,
Right, man.
Do it. Well, yeah, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Before we let you go, can you tell the people what new stuff you've got coming out right now and what people can check for and how they can support you right now?
Yes, I have I have a song it's called Bobylon. Still getting a whole lot of traction. I recorded this song for Ramesh. It's on Ramesh label. We made a video for the song. It's available on YouTube and other platforms.
Cool.
Bobylon. It's a nice song, mostly addressing the pandemic and all of that kind of stuff. But it's a really beautiful video too. So people can check that out. I have a video for a new single with myself and an artist called Brammer. It's called Big Tune, real big people tune. But
Nice.
there's also a video available for that on YouTube. Um, I have a song called If God Is For Us, Who Can Be Against Us? That has a video and that's available on YouTube also. And well, festival, I did a festival song. I did enter the festival song competition with Bujo and Toots and all those people last year. And we really did that we did it to help to boost the festival song competition back in Jamaica because after a while we were kind of losing it a bit. So we volunteered to do that and it did turn out nicely. And I really love that song too. And it's called Turn Up the Song. And there's video available for that. Otherwise, I'm recording. I've recorded about 8-10 tracks. I'm in preparation for a new CD. So it's that COVID is here right now and we're not in any great rush. Because we're kind of watching everything and trying to see how we're going to reposition ourselves, reposition releases, etc. So yeah, still working, doing what we have to do. Well, I'm really heavy into farming. So I use this time not touring
Right.
to do a lot of farming. And I love it. I'm enjoying it even so much more now. Everything is really going well.
What do you farm?
A lot of stuff. Right now I have like, as we speak now, I have over 10,000 pounds of pumpkin.
Whoa.
Wow. That's a lot of pumpkin.
Huge
That's
pumpkin.
a lot of
Not like the big yellow ones here, right? Real pumpkins.
Wow.
You know, and, I have a lot of sorrel over Christmas. I probably sold the most sorrel in Kingston.
That's
We planted
another.
a lot of sorrel
that-
and, yeah.
That's
I
another
planted-
tune, man. 10,000 pounds of pumpkin. That's another tune.
Yeah, because the pumpkins are heavy. And we plant a lot of it.
Verse.
Trust me, watermelon, cantaloupe, we have a lot of that. Now we have okra. We have loads of okra right now. We have bungo peas. They call it pigeon peas here. We have ginger. And I have yellow yam. I have the most yellow yam right now, I think. And moringa. I'm sure you're familiar with that. I have a moringa farm also. And I have the longest moringa pods in the country, about 4.5 foot long.
Jeez,
Wow.
you're making me hungry over here.
I know.
All you need is a nice mango tree.
Oh no, we have a couple of those. And not to
Okay.
mention my horses, because I'm into horses, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we breed horses, we rear
Wow.
them, we sell them.
I did not know this side of Freddie McGregor. Jeez.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's very cool. Wow.
Do you have you need a YouTube channel just for the farming and the horses?
I would watch.
Well, yes, our people are encouraging us to do some other stuff. Actually, we plan to use our YouTube channel to start like our interview program with like sound system people
Ooh.
from like
Nice.
Scorpio, Jammies. We want to try and capture those people while they're here. You ride, some of those people. Just talk about some of the greatest moments they've had. How certain things came along and try and document them using my YouTube channel.
That's a great idea. I'm so happy that you're going to do that, because I always say that's one of the biggest components of Jamaican music that I feel is lacking everywhere else, is the sound system. And it's just,
That's true.
it shapes so much, even down to just the motivation behind the producer picking what song was going to make it to vinyl. It's not.
It plays an equally important role within the construct of our music industry.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unique to Jamaica. In America, we don't have that,
Yeah,
It's-
for real.
and
When
so
you really experience these dances, there's something else. I just watched David Radigan
Mhm.
and BSLC Clash UK Cup a couple of years ago. It's fresh like yesterday. Really nice.
Man, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see that series.
Same here. Jeez.
That sounds great. Well, Freddie, thank you so much for joining us. I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been to talk to you.
My pleasure.
We wish you the best, and enjoy farming until we can all get back to really making
Yes,
music. The way.
And let me tell you, I have a new single coming with myself and Shaka D. Must look out for this one.
Oh man.
Wow, I don't even want to give it away yet, the title.
Okay.
But it's coming. And I'm gonna link with you and make sure you have it too.
Please, that would
Yes.
be great.
Make sure you have it. It's
Yes.
a smasher.
Ooh, I
Wow.
can't wait.
Shaka Demos. I recorded the song about 15 years ago at my studio. One day Shaka just walked up to me and said, what's that one more you do, you know? And I'm like, walk inside the studio, put it on, but and I voiced the song. And it
Wow.
was only this last year, Shaka put his part on the song, sent it to me. Mind blowing.
Wow.
Mind blowing.
Well,
So
man, I can't wait.
that
for
is
that.
going to be probably my first single for the early part of this year. It's coming up. Look
Beautiful.
out for it.
All right,
sounds
everybody, look out for the Freddie and Shaka tune. It's going to be a big one. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Sir.
All right, sir. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Freddie.
Likewise, and we'll talk to you soon.
Listeners as well, thank you for staying up, staying in tune with us. So we love you. Keep supporting the music. God bless you.
Later, man.
Yes.
Bye, man.
Talk to you soon, sir.
Yes, brother.
All right.
That was awesome, man. I think for me, Freddie has something that is different than any other person that we've interviewed. There's something about I don't the horses, the farming, some of these stories.
Man, I knew that was going to be good, but you're
Yeah.
right. He really had a he's a good storyteller. He's a charismatic storyteller.
Oh, for sure, most definitely. Yeah.
That was great. That was great. Thank you so much to Mr. Freddie McGregor. Everyone, stay tuned for his new music. Like you said, before we get into our personal promo stuff here, I want to let everybody know that for the first few months of the show, we were doing it on Saturdays, and then as you've noticed, we've switched to Thursdays for a while. Well, this is our last Thursday, and we are permanently now switching to Wednesdays, still at 6 p.m. Pacific time. But Wednesday is going to be the new permanent day of the week for the Reggae PodClash. Every other Wednesday. Let's see, the next one is February 18th. We can't tell you who the guest is right this very second, but we will announce it very soon. We have a guest. We just can't announce it right this second. It almost feels like there's a show. It's like a secret show. It's like we can't tell you.
It is a secret show, yeah.
But trust me when I say it's gonna be a big one. So yeah, just want to let you all know, Wednesdays is the new night of the Reggae PodClash, 6 p.m. Pacific time, well before Dub Club starts. We would never want to ever step on the Dub Club toes, because I need to be done to watch Dub Club every Wednesday night. But
Right.
Wednesdays is the night. Oh, Mr. Vernon Maytone is in the comments. Thank you, sir. He says, great interview.
Oh, wow.
Really was one of our favorites. One of our favorite interviews. Yeah, and we got to have Vernon on. We were talking.
Most
we're going to have
definitely.
him on very soon. But Raj, what you got coming up soon, man?
Don't have much coming up. I just want to share with you guys a couple things. One thing that I didn't put on here is I have a project called the Gil Miggs Raj Project, and we recently did a song with Sonny from POD. If anybody knows POD out there, it's called Broken Hearts Club, and you could check it out on my Instagram. Go to @reggae_Raj. Also, you go there and you could check out. I released a new Small Axe dub, which is an actual
Wicked.
dub version of the actual Bob Marley and the Wailers song.
So
Small
wicked,
Axe.
man. I heard it. It was great.
So go check that out. I got some really cool stuff planned for Bob's birthday as well. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Devin, how's things going in the songbook sessions?
Songbook sessions are going strong. Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We buried the lead on this whole show today, which is that I got a new computer,
Dun, dun,
and
dun.
and it's gonna make songbook sessions. I was having some audio troubles, but it's gonna make it much nicer to listen to. And of course, I'm still giving lessons at backstagemusiclessons.com, or just hit me up and also follow me on Twitch, Man Like Devin, so we could do a little DJ party. And I want to remind everybody too, we didn't get to this today, but real quick, please go check out the Reggae PodClash merch store, which you can find at rootfire.net. We've got these cool mugs, shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies. We might even have some special Valentine's Day material coming very, very soon. Go check that out, the Reggae PodClash merch store at rootfire.net, and you can click on the store tab. to find that. And how do I get rid of this screen? There we go. Ah, the mug. I
This
see the
mug right here.
Look at
It's
that
a
mug.
great mug. I know what you guys are thinking, that a mug's a mug and I can go to the store and just get any mug. That's not the case here. It looks regular, but I just holding it, picking it up, it's a great mug. So
really is a great mug.
please go check that out. At the very least, put your favorite beverage
Who designed
in
this mug?
I don't know. Some dude that thinks he knows Photoshop, I think.
Who's this dude here? Roger
Uh-oh.
Rivas.
Dun, dun, dun.
Great Roger design.
Modeled
Yes.
after the great
Go check
artwork
out-
of Sassafras.
That's right. That is Sassafrasian for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yes. All right. Well, like we said, we can't tell you who our secret guest is for February 18th, but it's a big one. It's a big one. And make sure you remember that the Reggae PodClash is moving to Wednesdays. If you're listening to this retroactively, or even if you're not, if you're watching right now, remember that these are available as a podcast, not just on YouTube, but as an actual podcast. So please, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do. Go subscribe, give it a review and a 5-star rating. That really helps us increase our visibility. We're trying to become, the #1 reggae podcast, so that when you search reggae podcast, this is the first thing that comes up. And we can do that if everyone goes and subscribes and rates and reviews and all that stuff. So please do that. And until next time, which will be Wednesday, February 18th, I'm Man Like Devin. This is Roger Rivas.
And Roger Rivas.
I should have let you say that. We're working
No,
on
I
this stuff.
like it.
All right, cool. And we will see you all February 18th. Everyone be good to each other. Take it easy until then. Later, Raj.
Later, Dev. See you guys.